Yeah, I signed it.
You have to sign in the front.
Yeah. We know this is better It's okay.
I don't know how to adjust the picture. Okay.
Exactly.
Je ne suis qu'une femme, une pauvre femme. Aide-moi à croire dans ce que je peux être, à ce que je suis. Montre-moi le chemin pour progresser. Un jour à la fois, un jour à la fois, oh mon Dieu, c'est tout ce que je demande. Le courage de vivre, d'aimer, d'être aimé, un jour à la fois.
Hi everyone, I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today. We're still waiting for the priest to come, but my wonderful, fantastic cousin, Stefan Loiseau, is stepping in with a prayer until our priest gets here. He has a few words to say. Thank you.
Well, I want to say a few words on behalf of my wonderful family and Pierre also. And I got to be thinking why we are here today. And we are here today because we all have somebody that we cherish who was Pierre, who passed. And these occasions makes me think about what it is that we're doing when somebody passed, what's going through our mind. And I got to think about something that the book of Ecclesiastes said. The book of Ecclesiastes said that it is better is the day of death than the day of birth. And this is something very profound, because I'm thinking, why would somebody say that the day of death is better than the day of birth? And in reality, the same book go on to explain, when you're born, you're like a blank sheet. It says that you're born in darkness and you haven't accomplished nothing. In other words, you're a blank sheet and you haven't done anything for somebody to remember you by. For example, if one would be born today and die tomorrow, they would say, who is that? If they haven't even given him a name, or that person a name, nobody would know who he was, who that person was. But by the time you die, you have had a whole lifetime to make a name for yourself, to make memories, to make to leave a legacy. And this is, in that sense, that better is the day of death than the day of birth, because through your life you have made a legacy. And sometimes, for some people, you may leave an exemplary life that is worthy to be imitated, which is the case for Pierre. Pierre is my uncle, and he is known, or he had left a legacy as a good person, as somebody who had worked hard all his life, who had lived his life not only by working hard, but being a smart, a mental person also. And that's the way I knew him. Somebody who think, who reason, and somebody who understand and have meaning behind his actions. And when you look at his life also, you can tell that he had accomplished several things. And when somebody accomplished things, it makes you look at them in a certain way. I wouldn't say reverence, but with a lot of respect, because you see that they understood some certain things that maybe you did not understand. And that brings me to another verse in the book of Ecclesiastes also. And I would like to read it for you, what it says. It's on chapter 3. It says, there is an appointed time for everything, a time for every activity under the heavens. There is an appointed time for everything. There's a time for birth, and there's a time to die. There's a time to weep, and a time to laugh. There's a time to walk, and a time to dance. There's a time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. So, yes, there is an appointed time for everything. There's a time for birth and a time to die. And in association with this, later on it says that it's good for you to go in the house of mourning, because this is where everybody's going to end. And again, I get to understand why are they saying that there's a time for everything, and it's better to go to the house of mourning. It says it's better to go to the house of mourning where we mourn people who die, because it gives you an opportunity to think about your own life. And when you think about your own life, you can think, okay, during this time that I have to create memories, to create a legacy, what is it that I'm doing with my life? So those who goes to the house of mourning, they have the opportunity to examine themselves and better themselves also, even though it's a very sad moment. But these type of things, people don't do it on an everyday basis. In fact, I like to say that death has a way of focusing your spirit or your life or what you want to do. It seems like when you're faced to some dire situation, that's when things start to get clear in your mind. You start seeing this is not that important. And this is more important here today. And maybe a week before, 2 weeks before, you could not see it. It was almost impossible for you to decipher what is important in life. Maybe you have asked yourself, but when you go to the house of mourning, it becomes clear. This is what's important. And it ties a lot with what this says, a time to love and a time to hate. And we realize that while we're here, this is a time to express our feelings. This is a time to express love to those we love. Because when they are gone, we will not have that opportunity anymore. And that also helps you focus what is important in life. You understand that certain things may lead to a temporary reward, but the greatest reward is to find rejoicing in your life. And how do you find rejoicing in your life? Is to love with those who love you and to live life fully in that sense. What's the use of owning the whole world and you cannot share it with anybody? This is a human emotion. When you have something good or good news, the first reaction is to call somebody you love and share that good news with them. So this is a human emotion. And when you go to the house of mourning, you get to think about these things. You get to self-examine yourself and see, how am I leading my life? Am I making an impact? Am I showing love to those, to family, to people who love me? And we can make adjustment. And when we make those adjustments, we realize that it is better for you. On the same book, on verse 12, chapter 3, it says, I have concluded that there's nothing better for men than to rejoice and to do good during their life. And this is a conclusion that I've come up also. There's nothing better for men than to rejoice and do good during their life. And we can do good in many different ways. When we work hard for our family, we do good. When we share a meal with somebody, we can do good. So we have opportunity to uplift somebody. Those now that I'm a Marvel and DC fan. If you know what that is, this is comic book, and Dr. Xavier says that those who are strong, they have the obligation to help the weak. And that's in one of those X-Men movies. And this is true. There's an essence in what he's saying. How do you do good during your life? Well, those who have the ability, the understanding, the capacity to do certain things, they should not refuse it to those who need it. If I can help somebody get a better education, understand something better in life, this is part of doing good. It's not just giving them money. Yeah, sometimes it helps. Money serves for protection, but wisdom serves much better than money. So if I can share some wisdom with those who have it, with those who are less fortunate, that's one way of doing good. It also means that everyone should eat, drink, and find enjoyment for all his hard work. It is also the gift of God. As verse 13 it says. So you should enjoy yourself while you can. And I'm sure that Pierre did have a long and fulfilling life. We remember Pierre. I remember him. I know Giselle remembers him. I know everybody here remembers him because we're all dear to him. We are here for that. And this is also an opportunity to say my condolences to everybody in here who are affected to it. And let's continue to better ourselves with the memory of Pierre.
Yeah.